Hi, everyone. Welcome to our weekly chat, and thank you for joining us again. My name is Estefania. I'm one of the volunteers at the Paul and Stephen Spiritus Center in Melbourne, Australia. And as always, I like to start our chats by acknowledging the traditional owners of this land, who are the Aboriginal people, and we pay our respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. And I also always like to start by taking a moment to be present, to detach from all the distractions, release our worries and our to-do lists just for a few minutes. You can get them back later. But just while we are together, let's tell our minds to focus on just this one thing, to see if there are any learnings that we can take away from today and apply it in our daily lives. And as always, the most important thing that we all can do every single day is to breathe. So please sit comfortably. Do your best to relax the muscles, especially the shoulders. They hold a lot of tension, the neck, the jaw. It's okay to soften for a few minutes. And if you feel comfortably, close your eyes, take a deep breath. And as you exhale, feel any lingering anxiety just leaving your body with that breath. Just let it go. And as you inhale again, imagine that your body is filling not just with air, but with peace and contentment. Just breathe all of that in. And as you breathe out, let go of negativity. Let it leave your body together with the air. And as we breathe once again, we visualize our bodies filling up with good vibrations and health, and exhaling anything that may be holding us back and limiting us from living our best life. And in this vibration of connection and health and peace, we say the prayer that our loving guide and brother Jesus taught us. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And give us this day our daily bread, and forgive our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. So be it. You may open your eyes again. The topic of our talk today is what is my mission? And it is based on the Spirit's book, which we always say is one of the 5 books viewed as the pillars of the Spiritist philosophy. And the Spirit's book itself is divided into 4 books or sections, right? So this is in book 2, which is called The Spirit World, and chapter 10, which is called The Spirit Occupations and Missions, questions 570 to 583. And I not only recommend that you do read these questions and the fabulous answers when you have a chance, but also that you study the Spirit's book as a regular part of your gospel at home practice, or there are some online courses or study groups that you can join, or you can get together with some like-minded people and start your own little study group. I know that our friends at the Spiritist Society of Melbourne do run these study groups from time to time in English online, so you can certainly look them up. But there are, if there are no current ones when you're looking for, there are many other places you can go, or you can start your own. But whichever way you do, the Spirit's book is the quintessential fountain of knowledge, really. And every time you read it, because you have changed as a person, what you take out of the answers also evolves. So it's really amazing. And don't be intimidated by the titles, about the spirit world and the spirit occupations and missions and things like that, because what they are referring to when they say spirit is in the sense that we are all spirits, right? So it is talking directly to us. Like sometimes we may see certain things and think, oh no, that's not me. Yes, it is about us. It's like that old song by The Police that put it so sickly, that we are spirits in a material world. um, and So mission, what is our mission? Mission also can be another sort of intimidating word or concept, because if we look up the definition of mission, there are actually lots and lots of definitions. But the one that is most suited to what we're talking about today would be that mission is a strongly felt aim, ambition, or calling, right? And to a lot of us, when we think about, a strong calling, a strong ambition, a strongly felt aim, we think that only certain people have that. Like we often think that there are only really a few true missionaries, and we exclude ourselves from that group because, we think we're not worthy. But that's not the case, like sure, when you think of a mission or a missionary, and you might think of Mother Teresa, you might think of Nelson Mandela, you might think of, all kinds of people, just to name a couple that spring to mind immediately. And while they were indeed great missionaries, in the sense that they exemplify their core beliefs in every action throughout their lives, right? So that is one of the things that made them great. But the simple truth is that we all have our missions, all of them. And Jesus actually explained this really beautifully in the parable of the talents. And I'm not going to go into it today, even though it may be my favorite parable, and those who know me know that I love the parables. But in that, he showed to us that we each have a talent and a mission, which is exactly in proportion to our capacity, right? So everyone gets what they're capable of doing. We come in with the exact talents to fulfill our missions, right? Because we, as we know, we're all in different stages of evolution, and some people are ready to do more than others. But it is still important that whatever it is that we do, that we are here to do and we're capable of doing, that we do it well, that we give it our best effort. That is really all that is asked of us. All that's it. So if we spend time comparing ourselves to those other people who did amazing things, we actually run the risk of thinking that unless we can do what they can do or better, unless we can match that, then it's not worth us doing it at all. Like if I can't be this, and if I can't do that, if I can't accomplish this, then why bother? And that stops a lot of people from accomplishing what they are really in here for, and that is a little bit sad, because it's been proven time and again when people talk to those who are close to passing, or even when we receive communications from those who have already passed, and they always say that their biggest regrets are the things they did not do. Right? Not the things they did wrong, not the things that they would have done differently. It's those missed opportunities is what they regret the most. So we cannot just wait until we are great before we do something. It's by doing something that we become great at it, right? And one of my favorite speakers on Spiritism, his name is Abdul Valadares. I'm not sure if he's got any material in English, but I think he's fantastic. And he was giving an interesting example on this topic. He talked about how in the human body, everything has a mission, everything has a reason for being there. And every body part contributes to the well-being of the whole, of the whole person. And and they are all guided by the brain. So in our case, we are the body parts and organs, right? We all have our missions, our reasons for being here. Some are more visible, some are in the background, but all are important. And we all know this, that there are body parts and there are organs that we don't usually pay attention, oops, or sometimes we don't even know they exist until something is wrong with them. And then we realize how important they are and how everything is connected and every contribution is important. So in our example, we are the body parts and God is the brain guiding everyone and everything, right? So I thought that was fantastic and really illustrative. And so for sure, some of these luminaries and missionaries that we think of, they may well have been ahead of a lot of us in terms of personal evolution. But a lot of the difference in what they were able to do and achieve and what seems and seems, that, for most of us feel unable to do is actually their attitude. Nelson Mandela used to say, it always seems impossible until it's done. And, if we look back in every area of life, there are lots of things that we take for granted now that not that long ago were considered impossible, were considered unbelievably difficult until someone did them. And now we all reap the benefits. So that kind of mindset certainly sets them apart. And even if we can't have, their strength of their attitude, we can certainly be inspired and try and get there little by little, right? And so, and some people, or maybe lots of people, stay stuck waiting to figure out exactly what their mission is, right? They pray, they meditate, they study, they ask questions, they ask, they sort of spend a long time looking for what that mission is. And while they're doing this, they're letting valuable time go by, right? So going back to those missed opportunities that I would mention just before. So is it truly necessary to know what our mission is in order to fulfill it? Well, it certainly helps, but it is not essential, right? So instead of waiting to have everything be crystal clear in what we need to do, the most important thing is to do something and to do it well, right? To the best of our ability, like I was saying before. Because we actually have multiple missions. And not only that, we have, sorry, I'm going to say this again. Not only do we have multiple missions of varying importance, but they also change and evolve through the course of our lives. So our mission right now is not going to be exactly the same in 10 years' time, or maybe even in 5 or 1. We all know how we've all experienced recently how quickly things can change and how everything may seem different in a very short amount of time, right? So, for example, maybe for some time, your primary mission may be to raise a family. And then that family, it becomes independent. And then your mission might become to help others using the experience that you've gained. Or maybe for a while, your primary mission may be to acquire enough knowledge or enough material resources to be able to live a comfortable life. And then when you achieve that, then you focus on helping other people who are experiencing challenges that you've already conquered, right? So we evolve, things change. And this even happens to those, big time missionaries we were talking about. If we go back to Nelson Mandela, originally his mission was to free his people from oppression. And then he was in prison for 27 years. So I imagine that most of his mission at that time was to not let his heart be overtaken by hatred and frustration and continue to stay true to himself. And then when he was released, he was made president. So now he needs to work on forgiving the people who had humiliated him and oppressed his people, and guide his country through this immense change in a peaceful way. So his mission continued to evolve, right? And I'm sure that he had to continuously reevaluate and refocus where he was going. And this happens to every single one of us, no matter how big or how small our missions are. We have to adapt. We have to evolve. Whichever path we choose, whether we are a teacher or a farmer, a leader in our field, or the person who delivers food or picks up rubbish, the thing we have to do is we have to do our job well. We have to do it with love, right? And then it is also very important to always remember that we are not one-dimensional things. We are never going to be just a teacher or just a parent or just the person who delivers food or picks up rubbish. We have different roles and missions in many areas of our lives. And so often we tend to focus on just the one area, or the one mission, the primary mission, but that is not all of it. That's not all of us, right? We have multiple areas of influence and things to work on in this life. And as you know, we talk about here often, that it's very important to start with ourselves, because perhaps another thing that tends to leave people a little bit stuck or not knowing what to do or where to go next is that they try to go straight to the top goal. They want to fix everything. They want to fix the whole world. They want to do everything, and they want to do it now, right? By tomorrow, it should all be better. And by next year, we have a new goal, or everyone is great. So that's just a really tough assignment, and it makes a lot of people give up, because if they see that it is just too hard, or it's just going to take too much effort, or it just simply looks impossible, then they say, well, why am I wasting my time? So that's why it is so important to tackle things step by step. We start small and we make the progress along the way without making unreasonable demands in things, without demanding from ourselves things that are beyond our current ability to give. Doesn't mean that we won't be able to do it down the road, but we have to be reasonable with ourselves, right? And besides, sometimes it's only after you've actually conquered one step that the path becomes clearer. You cannot see the whole road from the start. It's like a mountain climb where the view is constantly changing, and every time we reach a peak, the view changes. And sometimes, the summit where you can see everything clearly is not that far from the place where you're completely lost in the middle of the trees and you feel like you're never going to get out of there. So it's about, taking it step by step and learning as you go. Because, sometimes some people's missions are very clear, and they just go for it, and they can tell you what their vision are and their objectives and their steps and everything, and that's amazing. Well done for them. But for a lot of people, if they knew the enormity of what they have to do, they would probably be too afraid to tackle it. They might not even get started, or perhaps their ego might get in the way and disrupt things. So sometimes it is on purpose that we find things out gradually. As soon as we achieve a step, we conquered something, then more of the path is revealed. We get this we get the help when it's needed, right? So, but we still, even when we are not entirely sure of what our, we're not entirely clear on what our mission is, we still have this sort of instinctual drive to do a certain thing, or, we have this, like all roads in our lives end up leading to certain types of things. And, like that is a big clue that, like perhaps this is one of the things that we're here to do. But remember, it's never just the one thing. We're not one-dimensional. We may have one big overarching mission with lots of secondary or smaller missions or things that we have to accomplish along the way. A little bit like those games where what are they called? Maybe treasure. Are they treasure hunts where you get given a clue, and once you figured it out, and then you get another one, and then you have to make a plan and go and do the whole thing again until you find the next clue, and then the next part of it is shown to you. That is life. So to sum up, it's amazing how quickly time goes. What can we do? Of course, everyone is different and has to find their own answers. However, I do have some tips for success. They're not new. You may have heard them before, but here they are. I'm really sure that they do help. So number one, look within. Our main mission in this life, really, for every single one of us while we are on earth in this incarnation, is to evolve morally. This needs to be first and foremost in our minds, in our hearts, all the way through our life, in our lives, because we can't do it all in one. It takes us many. But we have to have that top of mind the entire time. So if we can live this life a better human being, a better spirit than when we first came to it, we will have achieved success. Number two, look around you. The people and the situations around us, in our families, our workplaces, our social groups, our societies, etc., they are there for a reason. They are an integral part of our mission of why we're here. So if we can live this life having inspired those around us to be better with our example and having better relationships with them than, at the start, we will have achieved success. And number three, look beyond. We are all connected, right? So when we feel ready, for sure we should extend our mission beyond our little bubble, beyond ourselves, beyond our family. Of course we could go, we should go as far as we're able to, right? Just not forcing the issue, doing it when we are ready, when we are capable, when it's the right time, right? But so the idea is to continuously expand our bubble. We start with a little bubble and we make it bigger and bigger and bigger, our bubble or circle of influence or whatever you want to call it. So if we live this life having inspired the community at large to be better with our example than they were before we came, we will have achieved great success. Number four, all and every single one of our actions, we need to remember the Hippocratic Oath. Hippocrates, the father of medicine, he always said, and it's the first thing that they learn, and we should all also go by that oath. First, do no harm. This applies to ourselves and applies to other people. And we shouldn't confuse harm with pain. Harm is intentional. Pain, as unpleasant as it may be, is sometimes part of the process. Sometimes pain is that thing that actually motivates us to do something, to change something, to wake up. So, but yeah, always first do no harm, right? And I know that this is a bit simplistic, but it's all the time that we have in this format. The intention is to stimulate you to do your own research, to do your own thinking and take your own actions. Because deep down, we all do know what we are supposed to do with our time on this earth, right? But but it's okay. Some of us see it a bit more clearly, some of us do see it a little bit less clearly, but we have to understand that we are never alone. We're always being helped, and guidance will always come to us when it's truly needed, when we open ourselves to receive it. Our mentors, our spiritual mentors, our guardian angels are always there trying to help us and trying to do their best for us. And oftentimes we just are not ready to listen. But once we open our minds, our hearts, our ears, the ears to hear, remember Jesus used to say, the eyes to see, the ears to hear, help will always be there. And not just from our spiritual friends, from our incarnated friends as well, because so often we are too proud, we are too afraid of rejection to ask for help, to say what we really need. But when we actually take that step, we're often amazed at how happy people are to do whatever they can to help. And if none of this has made things any clearer for you, I'll finish up with a bit of amazing advice that actually regularly pops up on social media and hashtags, but it is something that can immediately be acted upon, which is, in a world where you can be anything, be kind. So we move on to our final prayer now. So we close our eyes again, we take another deep breath, we make sure we're still comfortably seated, and we connect to our spiritual core. Our spiritual core is that one that is full of kindness and that knows exactly what we can do and what is where our contributions are most valuable. And in the spirit of the saying that without charity there's no salvation, we share our brilliant core with the world. And we imagine a bright light that starts from our hearts, and as our heart beats, it spreads this bright light through our entire body, through our veins. It expands. We can see it coming out from our skin, from every part of us. We see this light full of our love and our best thoughts, and we are so filled with it that we have more than enough to share. And so we imagine it reaching out to our home, our neighbors, our friends, our loved ones. We just continue to see our light and our goodness connect to each other and spread around our cities, around the countries, around the world. Our love and vibrations are joining together to reach all the people in the world. Our world is currently in deep need of healing energy, possibly more than ever before. So let's not just today, in this moment, but every single day, make sure that we send lots of love, light, and good vibrations to the entire planet. Let's now come back to our bodies, taking notice of whether we feel any different, and knowing for sure that any time that we send out our good vibrations to the world, we indeed make it a better place. Thank you so much for sharing this moment with us. Before we go, we just have a few notices to give. As we've been mentioning recently, we are doing our very best to help people both here in Australia and in Brazil, and we would love to have your help. We have our Breakfast Back campaign here in Melbourne, where we deliver breakfast foods and personal hygiene items to people who are currently homeless. And now that it's winter and it's a really cold one, we're also donating cold weather clothes. So the best way to help in that one is either to donate to our account, which you can get from our all our channels, the website, the social media, or you can get in touch with any one of us and we can point you to the details. Or if you have like coats or blankets or cold weather things that are in clean and in a good state, you may drop them at the center in Middle Park on Saturdays between 4 and 6. We're going to be doing that until the end of winter. And we are also in partnership with a couple of charities in Brazil, and we're trying to help those people. You know, the situation there was already tough before, and with COVID, it's gotten really intense, and some people are going without the most basic things. So we're helping donate food, cooking gas, and other essentials to those people. So with that one, the best way to help is by making a donation. And also, our center has opened, is receiving interest. We're going to start a new school, a new course of studying the gospel. Right, we do that school from time to time. It's a course that takes around 3 years, and it is a life-changing course. Unfortunately, at this point in time, it is only in Portuguese, but I know that quite a few of you that watch this chat in English also speak Portuguese. So if you have any interest, please get in touch with us again through all our channels or through any one of us. And that should be starting at some time soon. It will be done online on Tuesday evenings. So yeah, and I think that is all for today. Thank you again for sharing your time with me. I look forward to catching up with you again and wish you a wonderful week. And yeah, that's it. Take care. Much love. Bye.